Look at you all pink today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, today.
Like if you could see Jen, she has on a pink sweatshirt with matching pink headphones. And she has dark pink accents on her sweatshirt that matches the pink headphones. And her microphone is pink.
Yeah, and my nails are pink.
And her nails are pink.
Yeah, and earlier I was walking around. I have this like tie-dyed fleece jacket that's like pink, and I'm like a 12-year-old. It's fine. It's fine. So yesterday I was so annoyed that it's cold again that I just said, screw it. And I pulled all my summer stuff out and packed away almost all of my winter stuff except for like 2 sweaters. So I'll be wearing this sweater and another sweater for the next month, but I couldn't do it anymore.
I'll show you Jack Frost.
Yes. Like I can't, I'm so over it.
Yeah. I was hot today on the beach.
I know. I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. You bitch. How is it?
I love this resort. So I'm at St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yes.
Way south. It's down by St. Lucia. It's amazing. This is probably one of my favorite resorts. I had to think about it if I was going to say it's my favorite. There's definitely things about it that are my favorite, but I would still put a couple other up towards the top. This one is the newest one, and it's really amazing. Do you want to know what I did today?
Yeah, I do. I'll pretend that you haven't been texting me a stream of consciousness for the past 3 days.
No, I didn't tell you this.
I know, I'm just teasing you. It's so funny.
All I told Jen was that I was channeling my inner Jen and I was going to be a joiner because I'm not here on vacation. I'm here on a work trip, and there's about 10 other travel agent owners who are invited to this trip. So we're here together. I've had meetings and stuff, but I do get some downtime, and usually I like to have some peace and quiet on my trips, but I was channeling my inner Jen and I'm trying to like do stuff with people that invite me to do stuff.
I love it.
So one of the things that you can do at this resort, so I got in a kayak, and this guy from the Aqua Sports Center kayaked us out around this. So St. Lucia is very hilly, like Moana, like big mountains and hills and stuff. So we went around the side of this like mountain area, and we
Wait, St. Vincent, you mean?
St. Vincent. Yeah, sorry. What did I say?
You said St. Lucia.
Oh, St. Vincent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, wait, can you see St. Lucia from St. Vincent? Did you kayak to St. Lucia? We got in a kayak and we went all the way to fucking St. Lucia.
That would be amazing. Because Jen and I never know what we're talking about. I could probably say that and you'd believe me. No. So we went around the corner and we went into a bat cave.
No way.
So we went into this cave, and it was one person in front of us, our kayak. I was with this other woman, and the guide was behind us. He went last, and he goes, when you go in, you're going to turn to your left. It's very tight. You can't paddle anymore. Watch your head because the things are like coming down. You don't want to hit your head. And you just have to use your hands on the side of the cave to like pull your kayak through because it's so tight. And then you come out the other side. So we started going, and the waves are coming in from the other side. And this guy's kayak is like, I don't know. I have video of it I can send you. Up in the air. There's bats flying over our heads. And we're just like trying to navigate with our hands through this dark cave. It was very out of my comfort zone, but very cool.
I'm so proud of you.
Well, the part that was out of my comfort zone was
being in a kayak with a person. Yeah. That wasn't your child or husband. Oh, that sounds so cool. I mean, I would totally have done it too, but like claustrophobic, like, do you ever watch those caving videos?
Yeah. So you're only in there a short time.
Okay. Like you can see the other light at the end. Okay.
You can.
Thank God.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to handle it otherwise.
Which like, they're such idiots. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it's like, why are you doing that anyways? Why are you like trying to shove your feet through a hole you can't fit through?
Right.
I mean, I don't want anyone to die, but it's also like.
You're putting yourself in a very dangerous situation.
Very. And for what? Because I don't even think that's impressive.
Yeah. We're not going to do that in the Bahamas, Jen. Don't even get any ideas. We're not spelunking or whatever it's called.
I'm spelunking. No, we're snorbying. Snoobing.
Snooba.
Snooba. We're snoobying. Okay, Megan, we have business. We have business to talk about.
Okay.
Don't ever forget
Business.
about the business.
I'm getting sick of the business because it's like the same stuff every time.
I know. But we have an added new announcement. So I know we've been talking about that we're going to be at WED MKE next week.
April 16th. Yes.
And so since we last talked about this, we now have partnered with the Kimpton Journeyman Hotel in Milwaukee. So kind of excited about this. We are going to make you talk to us because that's just like what we're trying to do here. So we partnered with the Kimpton Journeyman, and what we're going to do is if you come and talk to Megan and I, and then also talk to the lovely peeps at the Journeyman at the show.
Yes.
You get entered for a drawing. And do you want to know what the prizes are? Well, you know the prizes are.
Well, I know, but
do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, we'll pretend like I'm the audience. Yes, please tell us.
So, if you are picked from the hat, you would win a one-night stay at the hotel at the Journeyman. And $150 food and bev cred.
Yep.
We're also going to throw in a bottle of bubbles for you to sip with your lover in your room. But I think what the cream of the crop of this win is you will get to be a guest on the Planner's Passport.
We're laughing because we're like, we really want the winner to come on and talk about their wedding. Like that would be super fun. But you don't have to.
Yeah, you don't. If you win and you don't want to, you don't have to. But
yeah,
you could come on while you're planning the wedding. You can come on after your wedding. Like you can tell us when you want to be on, and we're easy to chat with.
Yes,
we might mispronounce your name when we introduce you, but that's just because I'm an idiot. But other than that, like no pressure.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be fun.
I mean, I think most people will enter just because they want the hotel night stay.
Well, let's not assume that, Megan.
Okay.
You know, I think we're kind of cool. A little bit.
We try to be.
A little bit cool. But anyways, So that's the newest development.
Yes.
So come see us next week and enter to win.
Yep.
And then come on our podcast if you want. And if you don't, no big deal. But it's your loss if you say no.
You at least have to send us a picture of your wedding to post on our Instagram.
Yes, and we won't crash it.
No, we won't. Unless you want us to.
Yeah, unless you want us to, then we are so in. Maybe the winner, like the couple that wins, will be just so cool.
I know. Fingers crossed, right?
Yeah. So I think isn't that it? That's all the business right now.
Well, we have our big trip.
Oh, we have our big trip.
Yeah. So we announced last week we've got a trip for everybody who wants to come to the Bahamas with us. November 30th, 3 nights, Sandals Royal Bahamian.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. Lots of stuff to do. All inclusive. There's stuff off the resort.
Yeah.
If you need info, there's going to be a link on our Instagram, I believe.
Yes.
And then you can reach out to me or Jen, although I'll be very honest, Jen knows very little about this.
I know very little.
About the booking process. So Jen knows a lot about Jen knows a lot about the fun that we're going to have there.
Yes.
Jen can answer your question about all the fun.
Yes.
Or you can go and just not hang out with us at all. I mean, that's also an option, but not as fun.
Yeah.
Not as fun.
Yes. And just so you know, it's selling out fast. There's only one spot left, so you better
shut up.
You're supposed to build like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's more than one spot left.
Yeah. The funniest part about that is we're recording this before it was even announced. So all of the spots are left right now.
Well, I know I'm trying to build. Oh, God. You know what, Megan? Come on here. I'm trying.
This is like a hotel room block. The earlier that you call in to get your room, the better chance you're going to have of getting, one of those blocked room rates. So we have a limited number of rooms blocked at a certain rate. And once those book up,
get your spot before they go fast.
Aren't we done with the business?
Yeah, done with the business. Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's see here. Business is done. So now we'll go into our content.
Jen's just reading off the outline.
Yes.
We make no outlines.
No.
Before we got on today,
Yes.
Jen was like, should we just raw dog it today?
And Megan was like, no, but then essentially we kind of are. But
yeah,
we are professionals. We have a lot of information in our brains. So
yeah,
we figured since Megan is in St. Vincent right now, that we would just talk a little bit about destination weddings.
Mm-hmm.
Pros, cons.
I saw a wedding here yesterday.
Okay, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
So when I see another wedding, I always am like, barf. but when it's my wedding, like one of my clients, I am like, weddings are so great. We're the best wedding. And then, but like when I'm out in the wild and just see a wedding, I'm like, gross. Why do people do that? So there you have it. Hot take.
Okay, destination weddings.
Okay.
So Jen, how many destination weddings have you done?
I've done one international. I was actually supposed to do one in Scotland in 2020. So that got canceled.
Yep.
So I've planned 2 international, executed 1. And then I've done, I don't know, 6, 7 in the US.
Okay.
New Orleans, St. Petersburg, Florida, California. So
okay.
Yeah. How about you?
So if I would do a destination wedding, it would only be through Sandals. I really honestly don't have any interest in doing destination weddings just out in the wild.
Right. Yeah. No, if you want to do one anywhere else
besides Sandals, contact Jen.
Yeah.
If you want an all-inclusive wedding in the Caribbean, contact me.
Correct.
So there's our first tip.
Yep.
So I've done one in Negro last December.
Okay.
But I think the way that you and I do destination weddings, because they're so different, I mean, the whole process has got to be so different, right?
Yes.
So I have so many questions for you. So if somebody were to contact me and say, I'm interested in a destination wedding and I'm thinking of doing it in Atlanta, my response would be, no, but I know a great person who would do this, right?
Yes.
I wouldn't even get into it with them.
Right.
So I imagine you still want to make sure that this is a good fit. So for a destination wedding, like what kind of questions do you ask people? Because I think people who have destination weddings have a different mindset about getting married.
Yes. Well, first of all, I'm going to call out this tip. I'm going to call planners out, or like this is for other planners. I think that destination work can be very tempting. I think that there are a lot of planners who think that it's something they want to do, and they think that it's something that makes them like cool.
Because somebody wants them to come and do this wedding in a spot. Sure, I get that.
Yeah. And that you're not wrong. I mean, that's a huge compliment, right?
Sure.
Because you want to work with this planner. But I think the vetting process gets a little less strict.
Yeah, because you just want to do it so bad, right?
Exactly. Especially when you're trying to like build your portfolio. And I will tell you that is a really bad idea, because it's one thing to have a client that you maybe aren't totally in love with when you're in the city that you know like the back of your hand, you know, because at the very least you can crank this wedding out and you're just kind of navigating the client being a little difficult.
Yeah.
When you're planning a destination of wedding in a completely other location, it just adds a layer of stress for you, the planner. And I would just be careful. Like, it's not worth it. No wedding is worth it. No wedding is worth your sanity,
right?
Or working with somebody that makes you want to pull your eyeballs out. So be careful.
Well, and it's a lot of work, especially I would say if the person contacting you isn't sure maybe where they want to get married, because you have to dig into multiple different places that you don't know much about.
It's a ton of work, like a ton. My most, recent venue search for a destination client, I think I brought back 35 properties to consider.
Oh my gosh.
Because they didn't know where.
Yeah.
I helped narrow it down to like 3 or 4 locations, but still, it's a lot of work. So if you're a planner and you want to get into destination work, great. I would just say, yeah, if somebody reaches out, make sure you're doing the exact same vetting that you would, if not a little bit more.
Right. Right.
But yes, so I make sure that just like any of my clients that we're a good fit first and foremost. And it's also explaining like the process is very different. So if they come to me and they don't have a location, like that's the first thing we work on. And, I'll say to them, I learned this, like, I'm never bringing 35 properties again to a client. So we'll do a destination and like deep dive. So I'll just come back with some kind of rough facts of maybe 3, 4 locations. And then from there, they can be like, okay, yeah, we want to do Tulum or whatever it is. And then I'll dive into a venue search.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I will barely throw a quote out for a wedding in northern Wisconsin because I'm just like, I don't know the venues up there. I don't know the vendors up there.
Yeah. It's a lot for a planner to do as well. I mean, I have built relationships all over. So I do go to I go to an annual conference that brings together industry folk from all over the country. I mean, even when I was in Switzerland, that was networking with international vendors.
Yeah.
So I am lucky that I have relationships with people for sure all over the US that I can tap into.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to expand that. So it's all about, it's relationship building. Like it makes sense that of the two of us, I'm the one like, yeah, I would love to have friends all over the world that I work with. And you're like, you know what? I'm okay.
Yeah. Totally on brand. I know the weddings department at each of the 17 sandals locations, and I'm good with those people.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I think that one of the first things we probably should just talk about, and I'll be very frank about it, is like, when does it make sense to hire a planner, US based or like that lives in the city you do versus hiring one in the location where you want to get married?
Yeah. Yeah. Why do you think that somebody would? Okay, so I know this sounds like, I don't want this to sound like I'm knocking you because my question was going to be, why would somebody hire you to go somewhere else? Like, I know you're fabulous, but it sounds bad, right?
Yeah, no.
But that's what you're talking about, is why somebody would bring you along when maybe you don't know the vendors and the venue and things like that. And they're going to pay more for your services. They've got to get you there, right?
Yep. They have to get me there at least twice.
Yeah.
I need to do a site visit. So I like to do it while we're sourcing the properties, so that we have set foot in it and we know what we're planning. I like to go back then for like all the final meetings and tastings and all that kind of stuff. And then obviously to execute.
Right.
I would say that one reason is, especially if you're looking into planning a wedding, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to make fun of Americans. We are very anal and uptight, okay? We work off the train schedule or whatever got us to be so like 5:00 on the dot, that's how we operate. I think we're the only country except maybe Germany that operates that way. So I'm going to tell you this. When you're working in a different country or wanting to get married in a different country, there is a little bit more of a like mañana, tomorrow. We'll get to it.
Right. There's no urgency.
None.
And that doesn't mean it's bad. That doesn't mean that they don't know what they're doing or that they've forgotten about you.
It's just cultural differences.
It's cultural.
And to be quite honest, every time I'm dealing with somebody like that, I'm so jealous. I'm like, God, what must it be like to just be able to say, I'll get to it.
Right.
And then the person on the other end's like, okay. Like, I mean.
Oh my God. That's my life this week here because I have this promo going on. And so I have so many people that I'm trying to send quotes out. And it's like, people message me and I just feel like I need to get back to them immediately. Yes. And it's my own inner urgency.
Right.
It's impossible to turn it off.
There's this great meme where it's like people in Europe, their away messages are like, your message just went into my trash bin and I will be back in 3 months and you can email me again. And then it's like American in the hospital going in for surgery. I'm so sorry. I'm
Right.
about to go into surgery, but I will get back to you as soon as the anesthesia wears off.
Right.
So my point is, it's frustrating. People are working on different times, and if you're working 9 to 5 and are busy, it's just harder for you to manage your inbox and your inquiries and your vendor and venue coordination, that alone.
Right.
Whereas if you're paying me to do it, you and I can still talk at 6 p.m. your time, and I can come back with all the information.
Right.
But, it's just going to be harder for you to be doing that with the vendors.
Yeah, I completely agree. And with the time differences,
Yes.
some of the places too, you have to factor that in.
Yep, totally. And then the other thing is, there's still a lot that happens locally for a destination wedding. Your attire, invitations, engagement parties. I mean, there's things happening here. So I think building a relationship with a planner here has a lot of its perks as far as that goes.
Yeah.
You get that support and yeah, you're building a relationship. I mean, if you want to have coffee with me and talk about your wedding, we're doing that.
Right.
When you get to your wedding weekend in Italy or France or Mexico or wherever it is, you know me very well. You trust me very much. So does your family and the wedding party. So I think there's a lot to be said about that.
And that's the same, I would say, with a local wedding.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I tell people I prefer to work with the full planning clients as opposed to the 6-week, because the full planning clients, by the time the wedding day rolls around, we know each other. They trust me. They can relax more.
Yeah. They don't care. I'll be like,
right.
They'll be like, you can do it. Here's a credit card, whatever you want to do. They don't care. I'm like, okay, cool.
Because they trust you.
They sure do.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
They trust you.
And I think of all the vendors, your planner and, photo, video, let's say. I mean, you just really want to like them and trust them and feel comfortable with them. So you're just not going to have that same relationship with, if you hire a planner. And
yeah,
in my opinion, you're just not going to have that same relationship.
And I mean, this platform I'm going to use to pimp us, of course, too.
Yeah.
But that's a huge benefit of working with Jen and I. We are, as you know, both travel agents and we own wedding planning companies. So not only can we assist with getting people there, we can assist with the wedding. It's two very different services. But like, for example, for my clients who have weddings at Sandals, the process is quite different. It's more streamlined because Sandals has a very streamlined process of this is the various packages, and then we work on customizing things. This is how we book, this is who we work with. It's all streamlined, trying to make it very easy for people. But there's still all of the guests trying to call in to book all of their rooms and answering those questions.
And they're so stupid. Guests are so stupid.
Well, it's tricky for them because they didn't choose this vacation, right?
I know.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the biggest things when you're choosing a destination wedding too, is you have to be okay with most likely a smaller group of people. And
I think a lot of people want that though.
I do. I just think that there's always some people that the bride and groom think are going to come.
Yeah.
And then they don't, and they get a little bit mad, salty about it.
Yeah. It's like, well, Becky.
You just got to let it go.
And also I think, okay, when couples come to me, I've done a lot of consults for destination weddings, and first of all, I'm very direct, always. I'm a very direct gal. And I think people are like, so fun. We're going to get married barefoot on the beach and it's going to be amazing and everything's there and it's going to be easy breezy. It's not at all. It is not at all.
Well, I can do that.
Well, but it's still, though, you have to make sure your guests book in the block. They have to book in the block because it's even things like that. It's like, you get that package if 30 rooms book. And then, but Aunt Sally found on Expedia or whatever. I don't know how Sandals
doesn't put any of their stuff on there. So it's a little bit different.
So that's great. So then it does work in you.
Yeah. So they have to call me to get
perfect.
I mean, I will take that back. There for the last wedding I did, there was one couple that didn't call me to book. I don't know. People think they get charged more. Whatever. It doesn't matter. They didn't want to. Okay. But then I was sending out emails to all the guests with reminders about things, tips about the resorts, how to get through the airport, all this stuff. And then this other couple was wondering why they weren't included on the emails. It's like, I can't help you. I'm not allowed by Sandals to service your reservation.
Yeah.
You booked on your own. You do it on your own now. Like, that's part of the deal. That's part of why they're paying me.
Yeah. So, and not all resorts work that way if you're looking at a resort wedding. So,
Yeah.
it's just explaining to the couple, like, there's going to be a lot to manage. I mean, just what you shared is also things that I'm doing. It's like you are educating all of your couples. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And also, I'm sure Sandals and what's the other one?
Beaches.
Thank you. I'm sure the vendors they work with are great. So you don't have to worry about this. But I worry about it sometimes. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
what is that hair and makeup team like on site? And what couples also don't understand is if you're doing an all inclusive and you bring in another vendor, you're paying for them to be on site.
Oh, yeah. If you're a vendor, you have to pay for their room and everything to come in. Yeah.
Correct. There's just so much. So it's like, yes, it will be great to be in paradise for 3 to 4 nights with everyone you love. And yes, there are going to be some easier elements to it, but it's not, you're still a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
A lot of managing
And I think that right there is a great benefit, though, of hiring somebody to help you do that.
oh,
I
totally.
mean, that's why people pay us to do this, because we do so much behind the scenes to make it seem a lot easier.
Yes. And I've noticed too, especially with like, you know, some of the weddings I've done is they want a Chicago wedding, but in Mexico.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
And it is different. I mean, it's doable, but you know, it's like you're spending a lot more then, you know. So even if we're looking at these packages, it's like, yes, but that's picking these certain things. But now we're talking about bringing in a design team and we're talking about bringing in rentals and we're, you know, and so it's like,
yeah, that's a big production.
It becomes a big production. So again, I will tell you this, the people on the resort, yes, they're so great. They really are, but they are not planning your whole entire wedding with you. Like even if we're talking about that type of thing. If we're looking at a like pick A, B, and C, yes, they will guide you through that, but they're not going to be planning a production if that's what you're looking for, in my experience.
Yeah, I think it's different types of weddings, right? So I think a lot of people who book a wedding at Sandals really want a little bit easier of a feel to the planning.
Yeah.
And Sandals does a good job because you get booked at the place that you want to go to, and then they have the packages, but they have so many different upgrades that you can add on, and they do design consults with the bride and groom like virtually, that they show you all their different decor and upgrades, and if you want different chairs and different pieces and the fireworks and you know whatever, so they help walk you through everything. And I think, at least in my experience, it's really helpful having somebody like me who also is a wedding planner, because if you're just a travel agent, all you care about is getting those rooms booked. I was on these calls with my client and having their best interest in mind.
Yeah.
Yes, you probably do need that extra sound setup at the beach because you're going to have toasts, and you do want the DJ to play during cocktail hour or live music, because otherwise it will be too quiet, right? Or maybe there's some things where they pitch it and I'm like, you know, that's an extra, right? Like, I don't think you need it. If you want it, great. So it's so helpful to have somebody like you or me just on your team, like guiding you through it. Even if you think something is so streamlined like Sandals, I think it's so beneficial.
Same.
So have you had any like crazy destination wedding stories? Like, has anything ever bad happened on these trips?
No, it's as we've been talking though, I've been thinking about, I mean, I think I brought it up on the COVID episode, but one of the weddings I did in Mexico was a week before the shutdown, essentially, which we were fine, you know, while we were there. But it was the night before the wedding, we did like a dinner, like a welcome dinner or whatever. And it was very windy.
Sure.
And it was kind of one of those things where, well, not kind of. I was like, it's kind of one of those things where you had to decide if it was going to be, we had to decide if it was going to be inside or outside.
Okay.
Again, I can only speak to what I know. Mm-hmm. And that's that a lot of times, for as beautiful as the outdoor areas are, the indoor areas,
yeah, not so great.
Not great, because they probably rarely have to use them. But man, oh man, make sure if you're a raw dog in your wedding, make sure you get pictures of what that inside looks like, because you might have to be in there.
Same for local. You got to know what your backup space is, and you got to be okay with it. I always tell people, like, I do not want you to wake up on the day of your wedding and start crying because it's raining.
Yes.
You have to be okay with it.
Totally. So we knew how bad the ballrooms were here. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I don't care if it has to be indoors. I know it's ugly, but like, I'd rather have people be comfortable and, your food's not blowing away. But, all I can do is advise. I can't force.
Oh, yeah.
So we decided to still do outdoors.
Bold move.
It was a very bold move. So we're about a half hour into the welcome party and it starts to rain. And so the servers like run to like cover the food, and I grab the mic and I'm like, we're going to conga line into the bar. And I started to lead the group and they followed me into the indoor bar. And about 20 minutes later, it stopped raining.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I went back in and I was like, time to conga line back outside.
I am embarrassed just hearing this story.
I did not know what to do, but they did it. And it was fine,
I really hope you have a picture.
There's no pictures, but I will never forget it.
I'm imagining you in a big pink fluffy dress, just
follow me. Yeah, with like a banana hat on my head, like cheetah to banana. Yeah. Oh God. So no, I've been so lucky that all of my destination weddings have been smooth.
Yeah. What is your favorite location that you've done a destination wedding in?
New Orleans, New Orleans, New Orleans.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh my God. It's my favorite city in the whole entire world. And I'm still friends with the couple, Leslie and Gordy. They actually were over for dinner a couple of nights ago.
You don't need to say that you're still friends with these couples. Like, we just all assume at this point that you've had dinner with all of them in the last month.
I'm a very busy gal. But anyways, yeah, New Orleans is amazing. You need a planner though. You need a planner. Yeah. If you want to talk about island time and not an island, it's New Orleans. The band for that wedding. Oh, okay. That wedding. Okay, sorry. I'm starting over. Weddings down there are all cocktail style.
Okay.
So how they work, like we were in like a house, like it feels like, it's like an old house. You're upstairs. So there's like a parlor and their ballroom, but it's like small, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So how it works is everything's kind of like, the flip is quick. So you get married. Then we have the brass band. The brass band was there. We had the Pimm's cups.
Yeah.
We get everybody out. They tool around the block and we flip that room in like 25 minutes.
Oh, look at you.
It's all stations.
Okay.
Though. So it's just like we get the station set.
Yep.
So everything has to be like kind of in position so that, so the band had to be there and kind of be like hanging out in this back room. The band was 2 hours late.
What? Why? What was their excuse?
There was no excuse. I don't know if they weren't notified that they had a gig.
What?
When I called, when they were supposed to be there and I called, the band leader was like, oh yeah, we're almost there.
Oh my God. I would have killed somebody.
So a half hour later, I call again and he's not answering. So I call my contact and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And she's like, what do you mean? They're not there. And I'm like, no, they're not here. You know, like it's April Fool's. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? So I had to delay the ceremony by a half hour.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh. And so finally we get the band, so we know that they're like on site. So they're starting now to load in. So we do the ceremony and then pull everyone out. And thankfully the couple has no idea, of course.
Well, they do now.
Well, hold on. So we flip and then there's like no sense of urgency, you know, like I'm like, this needs to, I was just very not happy.
Yeah.
And night goes on. I hand out all of my gratuities for everyone except the band.
Yeah.
And it was like $200 or it was like a, you know, a hearty envelope of cash. And I handed it to the bride as they were leaving. And I was like, why don't you go ahead and spend this on what's it called? What's that famous? Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
And she goes, ooh, is there tea? And I said, yeah, and there's some tea. And I got all the money back. You know, I think we've talked about this kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not something I have ever had to do often. And I don't, you know, I'm pro vendor. I mean, I'm always advocating for vendors and like,
right.
But I was irate. We didn't even get to use part of the musicians because we had to delay everything.
Yeah.
They clearly didn't know they had a gig.
Oh my God.
It was just bad. And so, you know, I talked to the manager a couple days later and she agreed. She was like, yep, we will. I think I asked for like a half refund and they gave it.
Yeah.
Willingly. They were like, we are sorry.
But that's still your favorite place.
I love New Orleans. Yeah, I would go back. I would go back and pull my hair out all over again for another New Orleans wedding. So if anybody wants to work with me in New Orleans, please hire me.
Are you putting that out into the universe?
Yeah, I would love to do that. I really liked it. And I would like to perfect it, you know? I want to do it again and like really nail it. I mean, I nailed it. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did not recommend this band, by the way. So I just thought I should put that out there. Also, the photographer. So Leslie and Gordy, we actually do like trivia together and we do hang out quite a bit and their wedding always comes up still. And their photographer is like famous.
Oh.
But she was a total bitch.
Ugh.
Such a bitch. And she was like mean to the family and she was like mean to me. She was just a bitch. So we like to talk about how bitchy she was, but how great her photos are. Her photos are fantastic.
I don't understand why vendors
are bitches.
It doesn't happen very often. I had a makeup artist one time where I wasn't standing there, but I heard stories from the family of like what she was saying to them and like
ego,
bitchy.
Man. It's ego.
I was like, maybe. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm never going to refer you again.
No. I mean, I wouldn't work with this photographer again.
Yeah, no matter how good her photos are.
I know, even though her photos are amazing. But I mean, maybe I would, but I'd put like a don't be a bitch clause in her contract.
Yeah. Well, I want to come back here, so I'm going to put out in the universe if anybody wants to get married at Sandals St. Vincent to contact me because it's gorgeous.
Do you want me to assist you if that happens?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, great. I won't ask you to assist me.
Although I don't necessarily even need to come. Like my wedding in Negril, it's so completely different. I did the whole thing, and then they were comfortable with just having the on-site planner execute it.
Okay.
And so I didn't come. So yeah, Sandals, they do, for people who are just travel agents, they do try to sell that, look, you can just book this wedding and handle the rooms and we'll plan it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure they will, and I'm sure they do a great job. I guess my point is that if you have somebody like me, I don't charge you extra, and I'm just going to offer my opinion occasionally for fun. And it's going to be a good opinion.
Yeah, and I'm like fully in. So you have to take me and you have to hang out with me all weekend.
Yeah. They have this over-the-water wedding chapel that's like really pretty, and there's a glass floor for the aisle so you can see like the water underneath and everything.
That sounds like cool, but also like I need to see this.
I've got photos.
Like, is it scary? Is it scary?
No. Is it
Okay.
scary? It's not like a cheap build.
It's like,
You think it's going to fall through
what if you see a shark? Oh, man.
I don't think there's sharks that close. I hope not.
That's fair. That's fair. I shouldn't say that.
Do you go in the ocean?
Yeah, oh, yeah. We talked about that, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're scared of seeing a shark from above you on a floor. But,
Yeah, or poop, because apparently you can see poop in the water too.
Yeah. I just almost forgot that we were filming and that I'm in this robe.
Did you almost take off your robe?
I almost adjusted myself in the robe. And then I was like, oh.
We feel right at home here on the Planner's Passport.
Clearly we do. Clearly we do.
Okay, so where were we?
I was just asking you questions like I always do.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you want to do a wedding in St. Vincent.
So I really love Jamaica now. So I would also, I'd go anywhere. Let's be real.
I would love to do a wedding in Norway.
Norway?
I love Norway. Yeah.
What was the country that Sean from Lux said he wanted to do a wedding?
Lebanon?
Yes.
I would do a Lebanon. I've done a Lebanese wedding here.
Is there any place that you have done a destination wedding that you would not do one again?
Yeah, I did one in Dubuque, Iowa.
Okay.
And I'm okay. You know what I mean? That was okay. That was a sister of a former, a bride.
Yes.
So I would go anywhere mostly I would go anywhere for the siblings of my former clients. But Dubuque, Iowa was not good. And I walked into that ballroom and they had white and ivory linens, mixed. Ugh. Oh, yeah. And I was like, no. And they were like, what do you mean no? The venue. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
These need to match. So either go get all white ones or go get all ivory ones.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that disgusting?
It is really bad.
It was really bad. So I don't need to go there. I think it would kill me maybe a little bit, but I would like to try to do one in New York just to see how hard it is.
Yeah.
I feel like I have Chicago down pat, so it's I assume it's similar. Right. But for some reason, it feels like it would be harder.
True, but you know people there.
I do. I know a lot of people there. I dog sit there.
I mean, there are definitely challenges like we talked about of planning a wedding somewhere that we don't know. Challenges for us. But all weddings have the same structure.
They do.
And so that's why we can go to other places.
Yes.
And execute weddings well. Because even when people are like, I want my wedding to be unique, that's fine. And it will be unique, but it's all the same skeleton underneath.
Right.
You have to think about the same stuff.
Exactly. I mean, another thing is I do conferences and corporate, and that's always, I'm always traveling for that.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing though. I go in for a site visit. I'm there for 2 nights. I am working nonstop, going to restaurants for rehearsal. I'm touring and touring and touring and meeting and meeting and meeting.
Yeah.
So I'm just doing that for you. And I know what to look for and I know how to do that. So
right.
When you're hiring a good planner, we could do this anywhere. Or we'll figure out how to do it anywhere too.
Right. We at least know how to figure it out. Yeah.
Right. And what we were talking about on an episode a time or two ago, even with my travel planning, sometimes I'm consulting with local travel agents or, I'm using resources so that I'm making sure. I mean, I'm real good. Most of the time they're like, yeah, your instincts are spot on. And I was like, thanks.
So this whole episode was all an ad. Please hire Jen and I to do your destination wedding.
Yeah, we paid ourselves to do this ad for ourselves. Wait. Sorry, off topic.
Yes.
But we have to tell people this because if you listened to our toast episode last week, Megan and I were realizing, remember when we were like, please email us if you have a toast story and we'll share it. And Megan, as we were prepping to hop on here, she was like, wait, didn't we get some emails with toast stories? And I was like, yeah, we did.
And we didn't even mention them. We totally forgot. We were too focused on the business.
Yeah, and it was a great episode. But yeah. So I was gonna say, like, email us some of your destination wedding stories, but don't waste your time.
I would still like the emails. And if eventually we'll remember to do an episode about them.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So go ahead and email us. I dare you.
I dare you.
Dare you to email us at theplannerspassport@gmail.com about whatever.
Yeah.
Just email us about whatever. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Here's what I'll say. If you are thinking about a destination wedding, period, it's not necessarily going to be easier.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be easier in other ways, but it brings challenges in another way. So you have to balance that.
Yes.
Hire a planner, whether it's local to you or local to where you're getting married. Make sure that you are working with a planner. You just have to. I don't know how you just make it work. Figure it out. Check the weather patterns in the locations that you're looking into.
This is why you hire us.
There are things called hurricanes, and they do happen. And they do happen certain times of the year.
Yep.
So if you get a really good deal on like a November in the tropical belt, it's because a hurricane's going to happen.
It's like when couples come back to me and they're like, yeah, the venue said they still have this date open. And, that would be a good date next summer. I was like, yeah, that's the Northwestern Mutual conference where there's 20,000 people here and there's no hotel rooms. That's why. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see what else.
Okay, because this was essentially an ad.
It was an ad and we were kind of somewhat raw dogging this.
Yes. Here's what we're going to do to finish up our ad. Because Jen and I both do destination weddings at completely different types of places, let's give each of us a minute to talk about why somebody should hire you to do a destination or what your destination weddings would be. And then I'll do the same thing for sandals because it's just two different things. Okay. So I think that you should look to bring on a travel agent like me, who is also a wedding planner for a wedding at Sandals, because you have somebody who you can trust. I can be in communication with that weddings team to help you design the wedding. And they only do set calls throughout the time. You can have somebody on your side, bounce ideas off of the entire time. Weddings at Sandals are very different than weddings that you would just go and plan in a house or rent a space somewhere else. There's packages, and I will say they do tend to be less expensive than getting married just in Milwaukee. I don't know if it's in Iowa, right? But it's a less expensive option for people. Is it less expensive for your guests? No. But it's less expensive typically for the couple. And so, yeah, it's easy. It's easy to do, but I think it can be overwhelming for people trying to read through all the fine print and understand what's going to happen. So bringing on somebody, a travel agent who also has wedding experience, is super important. There's my pitch. Thanks.
Well done. I almost want to get married again at a Sandals resort and have your dad give a toast. Well, don't forget, if you come with us to the Bahamas in December, we're going to toast each other, and you can witness that.
Yes, not roast.
Not roast. Okay, my turn. I think you should hire me if you want to work with somebody who's incredibly well traveled, who is going to bring you a Chicago high-end level wedding and service in a different location. Who is just so fun and full of wit and charm. No, I mean, I think if you're up for an adventure, I mean, if you want to throw a once in a lifetime, 3-day event for your nearest and dearest, let's do it. Just like here, I want to be creative. I want to make it unique to you.
Yeah.
It's just a different backdrop, right? and I'm anal and I'm on top of everybody, and you're not going to have to stress about manana when manana is. And yeah, I mean, I would love to do more just because of like, yeah, I'm a travel agent as well. So I'm helping your guest book. I'm putting your website together. I'm holding their hand. I'm holding your hand.
Yeah.
And then we get to go to some crazy, amazing place and get you married.
I think that was a great way to put it, is having a Chicago style wedding in a different location, because
Yep.
that ties back into what you were saying originally, is finding clients who are a good fit. And that's what it is, right? That's what you're looking to plan.
Yes.
You're still looking to plan the interesting and unique and big style weddings, just in a different spot.
Yep.
My weddings that I plan at Sandals are quite different than the weddings I plan in Milwaukee. They
Totally.
can be as low budget or as high budget as needed. It's just more of an on resort experience.
Yeah.
So I liked how you described that of what you do. I think it made a lot of sense.
Yeah. I think most people, when they think of a destination wedding, it is in your camp.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm in the other camp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's perfect. Gosh, we are such like a great team. I mean, just balance each other so well. Community before what was that whole, remember that whole hashtag? Community before competition or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but you should come with us to the Bahamas.
Oh my God, it's going to be so fun.
It is. Like, I really am excited about it. And I think you'd be dumb not to come.
I think it's going to be such an interesting mix of people, because we're going to draw people from the Milwaukee area. We're going to draw people from the Chicago area.
Yeah.
Jen's ex-boyfriend might come.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
By the way, I had a date last night.
Yeah.
And it was not a love match, but I did tell him about the podcast, and I'm pretty sure he subscribed to listen to them.
Oh, nice. My father-in-law recently got hooked.
That's awesome.
Shout out to Martin when he catches up.
Oh, his name's Martin.
Yeah.
That's so cute. I love that name. Do anybody call him Marty?
No.
Okay. Ooh. Well, okay, noted. So yeah, well, we will see you next week at the Wed MKE show.
Yes.
And then you'll also listen to us next week in some capacity.
Yes.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much for joining us again this week. If you have a wedding or travel-related story of your own that you would like us to share in a future episode, send us an email to theplannerspassport@gmail.com.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Planner's Passport, and follow all of our travel and wedding businesses, including We Roam Solo, Dare to Dream Travel, and Dare to Dream Weddings. And please, if you enjoy our show, remember to rate, review, and subscribe from wherever you are listening to this podcast.